I've been living with ghosts. Everywhere that I go, wanting me to come. I've been living with ghosts. Got me here by the throat, wanting me to come.
Hello there guys, this is Alex here, bringing you part 8 of What If Deku Had Full Counter. Where we last left off, Class 1A was frightened by the display of Izuku's wrath and power. Dark Shadow convinces the group to get out of the building ASAP, but they couldn't because a portal opened up and a berserk Izuku greeted them with an attack that hit the ground, missing the students. When Izuku started to attack the students, Shoto made a glacier of ice, trapping Izuku in the process, but the ice was melting fast, and steam was covering the area like mist, and Katsuki thinking on why he would hide something like this to him. Katsuki's inner monologue, saying, "This is Izuku. No, this isn't him. But could this be the reason why? Why didn't he tell me this sooner? And the creature's barrier, isn't that Izuku's mother's quirk? No, it couldn't be an imitation perhaps. Whatever the case, I have to do something about it." Ochako's inner monologue, saying, "Those markings, could it really be him?" Shoto, visibly shocked, would say, "What the? Not even my axe is enough to stop him? What the hell is he?" Mineta, saying, He's a monster, a heartless monster. Oh, look at those eyes, they're empty. It gives me the creeps. Let's just hurry outside." Katsuki, visibly pissed, would say, "What the fuck did you say, pipsqueak?" Izuku would shatter the glacier of ice that kept him in place as it was nothing, and extend his arm as he would form a spiral of dark flames into the palm of his hand, as he would throw a ball of dark flames. Everyone looked in fear. Shoto would have tried to restrain Izuku and more ice, but the dark flames quickly melted the ice, and the dark flames continued to make its way towards Class 1A. Tokoyami would have wanted to dodge, but at the sight of these dark flames, Dark Shadow couldn't resist it, and to save everyone there, he lunged towards the dark flames, taking the hit head on. Tokoyami looking in concern for Dark Shadow's safety, and his reaction would quickly dissipate as Dark Shadow would grow in size. Tokoyami looking in fear as he recognizes the form Dark Shadow is taking is the one during his night transformation. He would start to fear for the worst at this point, but before he could say anything, Dark Shadow speaks up. Dark Shadow saying, "I feel more alive than ever before. Thanks for the boost, Hado-san, but it seems that you aren't yourself at the moment, so I'll have to put you down." Dark Shadow, looking at everyone in Class 1A, would say, "So like I was saying before, get out of here, I'll handle him." Dark Shadow parrying one of Izuku's fists engulfed with dark flames and throwing him off balance. Then Izuku quickly recovering from the attack, and Katsuki using an explosion to Izuku's face to stun him a bit, but barely managing to buy 10 seconds. Everyone in Class 1A finally did what Dark Shadow said, except for Katsuki, making sure Dark Shadow doesn't take Izuku's life in the process, nor letting Tokoyami die by Izuku's hands. Tokoyami saying, normally Dark Shadow would not act by himself like this, while looking at Dark Shadow fight Izuku, and saying, most likely Izuku's Dark Flame quirk is enhancing Dark Shadow's overall strength without him losing control because of the sun still being up. Katsuki saying, so, are we gonna stop him, even if he was knocked down already and almost slammed to death by those creatures? How can we overpower him while he has this overwhelming strength? Tokoyami saying, I can't say for certain, but let's keep him busy until the pros get here. At least they'll be able to do something, and I'm sure they'll find a way. Katsuki looking in contempt with that answer. He teamed up with Tokoyami and Dark Shadow, finding a way to stun Izuku. They try a 1-2 combo between Dark Shadow getting Izuku's attention, and Katsuki with explosions, making sure the force knocks him off balance. Meanwhile, Shigaraki would look in annoyance as Class 1A fled and only two staying to fend off the mindless beast that was Izuku. Shigaraki would get angry on the sight of two mere students who were holding off Izuku without any issues. Shigaraki saying, well, how nice of them to keep a friend in check. What a shame, but alas, Kirigiri. Go and make sure our new Nomu kills his objectives. Kirigiri saying, "As you wish, Master Shigaraki." Dark Shadow would remain, defending himself from Izuku's barrage of flames, and his fist imbued with this darkness which only serves to keep boosting Dark Shadow. Kirigiri, teleporting above the scene, as he would say, "Heroes, I must congratulate you for your strength, but you forgot to watch your step." Before Katsuki can retort, Kirigiri quickly engulfed the two as they would start to fall from the very top of the USJ, and Izuku following suit with his hand covered in darkness, transforming into a spear of sorts, ready to plunge them into the ground. But before any of that could happen, Izuku would get kicked towards one of the areas of the USJ, while Katsuki and Tokoyami being grabbed by All Might's right arm. They would land. He would put both teens on the floor, while he was carrying someone in his left. Tokoyami and Katsuki in unison, visibly surprised, would say, "All Might, you're here." All Might saying, Yes, I am, young Bakugo and young Tokoyami. I was going to be here from the beginning, but unfortunately I was caught with hero work on the way. Please forgive my tardiness. I can only imagine what you all went through." Katsuki saying, "Well, it took you long enough, but why do you have Aizawa?" All Might saying, "Yes, Aizawa. I brought him along to get him to cancel Izuku's quirk, but he isn't in the best conditions. Thankfully, he still has sufficient strength to use his quirk one more time." All Might grabbing the belt from his waist, holding some canisters. "Originally, I was going to use knockout gauss, but since the two of you are here and I didn't bring any more masks, I'll have to rely on Aizawa." Katsuki and Tokoyami looking in concern at Aizawa's condition, as his head is all bandaged up while only barely able to see his eyes. Rubble would be thrown into the air, catching the attention of the heroes, as Izuku would head towards where All Might, Katsuki, and Tokoyami were, and would lunge ferociously with the blade out of darkness, ready to pierce them at great speed, until Gran Torino kicked Izuku into the ground, stopping his attempt. Gran Torino pinning Izuku on the ground and lifting his head while looking at All Might, as he would say, "Get a Razorhead ready! I got Izuku pinned." All Might doing so, he helped Aizawa stand up. Aizawa would look at Izuku and use his quirk on him, as the markings would start to dissipate, and Izuku looking physically exhausted. Izuku would be picked up by Gran Torino, while All Might with Katsuki and Tokoyami being relieved that they wouldn't have to resort to anything too dangerous, but both Katsuki and Tokoyami thinking why Izuku never mentioned to anyone that he had a second quirk, and a dangerous one at that. Shigaraki looks at the scene unfold. He looks absolutely livid at the fact that Izuku was taken care of. Shigaraki would start to stir up attention to himself, while Kirigiri tells Shigaraki that they need to leave. Meanwhile, in Izuku's head, Izuku saying, "Where am I? Did I get him? I saw him standing in front of me all this time, but I don't see him anymore. Maybe I finished him off." Izuku, looking around, sees All Might, Katsuki, Tokoyami, and Gran Torino. How nice of them to give me a hand. All for One's echo, taunting him. "Are you sure we're done? You haven't gotten a hit on me, child. I'm standing right in front of you." All for One appears standing in front of where Katsuki is, and would say, "Now, why don't you take your best shot and get this over with?" Izuku, getting angry and the black markings starting to reappear, would say, "Oh, I will," shouting in anger. "I'll make sure I wipe you out of the face of the earth, All for One." Izuku lunging towards where All for One is standing, ready to pierce him with his hand formed into a dark blade. All for One's illusion dissipates as he thrusts the dark blade into All Might's left side, while All Might pushed Katsuki away from Izuku's attack in time. Katsuki and Tokoyami are both left speechless. Then Izuku would revert to his usual self and would fall onto the ground unconscious, as his body can no longer keep going due to the exhaustion he put his body through. Gran Torino having to bind Izuku now for their own safety, and Tokoyami holding him with Dark Shadow as he reverted back to his original state. All Might would start to bleed out and look concerned not for his own well-being, but for Izuku, since he mentioned All for One. All Might would want answers on when he was mentioned, and if this attack was his doing. All Might could only think of the torture he put the hero course through as he tries to take a rest. Katsuki would look in distraught that Izuku was aiming towards him, and if it weren't for All Might, he would have been a goner. All Might would have to take it easy as he was injured. They were distracted with the reason for Izuku's behavior, barely any time to notice a portal opening up in front of them. Shigaraki's head would pop out with his hand reaching for All Might's face, but his hand would be thrown off course from its target as Bakugo makes an explosion at Shigaraki's arm. Katsuki is saying, "Hands off, you bastard!" Shigaraki, absolutely livid at his failed attempt to kill All Might and end him once and for all. Gran Torino would have quickly acted and jumped towards Shigaraki's other half and kick him back into place. Kirigiri saying, "I think it's time to leave, Master Shigaraki. The other pros would get here soon. At any moment, I suggest we retreat and regroup since we have the chance to do so." Shigaraki saying, "I don't think so, Kirigiri. That kid already had everything sorted out for us. Until those two students," pointing at Tokoyami and Katsuki, "got in the way. I want to pay them back with a nice handshake." Shigaraki lunging towards where Tokoyami and Katsuki were standing, but before he could get any closer, he would get shot multiple times, each bullet hitting his joints to immobilize him. Kirigiri would have seen this unfold and quickly snatched Shigaraki away from the hero's grasp as they teleported and getting away. After the heroes made their way to help out the rest of the teachers at the center of the USJ, they saw All Might's injuries and would see it as a severe one. All Might would insist it wasn't a big deal, as the amount of blood loss would make him lose his footing. The pros would also come to Aizawa's aid, looking at how his face was bandaged up after facing the group of villains. Every other pro started to apprehend all the thugs and low-tier villains that joined the League of Villains ambush. After that, Nezu would have made his way into the scene and would have seen what happened to All Might and Eraserhead. Noticing how severe things were and only looking at Gran Torino, who looked down for his inaction during the USJ. Nezu would have understood the situation and asked the two students, Katsuki and Tokoyami, to join their classmates outside for any medical attention. Recovery Girl would have made her way inside to check on All Might's condition after the pros insisted on him doing so. He needed immediate checkup, while the same went for Izuku, but Recovery Girl couldn't find anything wrong with him at the moment. Recovery Girl would scold Gran Torino for letting Izuku fight, as well as All Might for not being on time. Recovery Girl would check up on All Might and trying to see how big his injury is, and noting that his body is more severely damaged than initially anticipated. Chio saying, "Toshinori, your injury is worse than I thought, but from what I can tell, you most likely lost a kidney. But for deeper analysis, I need you at the hospital." After the incident, Izuku would be transported to a hospital. Chio assesses his state while in the ambulance. Katsuki would want answers from the pros on the scene, but gets denied by Nezu and Gran Torino. Katsuki saying, "Why, it seems that you're trying to hide him." "Why is that so?" Torino saying, "We aren't hiding him." Katsuki saying, "Then tell me, what's wrong with Izuku?" Torino saying, "Sorry, but I'm not the right person to ask." Katsuki saying, "What is that supposed to mean?" As Nezu would say, "Mr. Bakugo, I'm sorry, but we cannot tell you the details of this matter, for some information being sensible and others confidential, and when the time comes, more will be revealed." While Ochako in the distance would say, "Found it." Katsuki saying, "What the fuck? Roundface, where did you come from? What did you find?" As Ochako would say, "Oh, Izuku's pendant. I saw it fly off his neck when he was impaled and we thought he was dying." Meanwhile, at the hospital, after some time, Izuku awakened by a nightmare as he relived the memory of stabbing All Might over and over again, his body covering itself with dark markings out of self-defense and overwhelmed with guilt. Izuku's inner monologue would say, "Why can't I get rid of this damn power? And did anyone else get hurt because of me? What was he there of all people? I should have just kept my distance. Why do I keep being a nuisance to everyone? I should have just gave in and let that be my resting place. At least no one else would have been harmed." Izuku's thought process would have been taken aback by the sudden grip onto his body. Nadre would have hugged Izuku tightly, worried for his well-being. Nadre saying, "Izuku, are you feeling better now? You were injured so badly that they had to do a blood transfusion. So you could have died there. I'm just glad you're not. And you're okay. Now you'll get better, I'm sure of that." Izuku saying, "Hey, Nadre-san, is Katsuki okay?" Nadre saying, "Yeah, he is fine. He's at home right now. He came in to visit you while you were unconscious, but told me that he hopes that you get better, and I must say he's right, you know." Izuku saying, "How about All Might?" Nadre saying, "Well, He hasn't made a public appearance for a couple of days. The news said he needed some time off, but is everything okay, Izuku? Izuku Trio. No. I lost control and accidentally stabbed All Might. No wonder he's been out for a couple of days. Nedry saying, Izuku, I'm sure it's not your fault that you lost control of that other quirk. Something must have happened, and Recovering Girl said that it was a good thing that you've used that quirk because it stitched your body and kept you alive. Izuku saying, then I was just a nuisance to my classmates. I thought I was helping out, but I was just getting in the way again. I should have died there so nobody would have gotten hurt. Nedry saying, don't say that, Izuku. You helped out a lot. Aizawa even said you helped out a bunch, and if you were to die, you would have hurt me, Mom, Dad, Uncle Satoru, and not to mention Katsuki. Izuku visibly aggravated. I didn't. Almost killed Katsuki for Pete's sake. And if it weren't for All Might, he'd be 6 feet under, and Hanti Mitsuki would never forgive me. Nedry saying, Izu, stop beating yourself up. Nothing bad happened. Your classmates are okay. None of them had any injuries. Izuku saying, but they would have been in danger if it weren't for me. Those villains knew what they were doing and who I was. They wanted to kill All Might, and they wanted me. They wanted me either dead or alive, whichever came first. Izuku looking down in shame, saying, I wish I was never born in the first place. As Nedry angrily slapped Izuku, saying, Never say that again. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, and being your big sister made me the happiest person in all of Japan. And you wish that it never happened. What about all those times when we were kids? What about your parents? Do you not like us? Izuku visibly aggravated even more. It's not true. But a knock on the door interrupted Izuku and Nedry's conversation, only to reveal a blonde and a timid young man with some snacks. Nedry, visibly, a bit angry, would say, Mirio, Tamaki too? What are you doing here? Mirio saying, we came here after hearing your brother was in the hospital, and Nedry saying, Mirio, you came at the wrong time. Nedry dragged Mirio and Tamaki outside the hospital room, with her closing the door behind her, so Izuku couldn't hear. As Mirio would say, what was that about? Nedry saying, Mirio, the two of you came at the wrong time. I was trying to make Izuku open up to me, so I can understand why he acts the way he does. As Mirio would say, oh, sorry, I guess we came too early. As someone would say, sorry to interrupt, but is Izuku awake? Nedry saying, and who might you be? As the person would say, oh, sorry, my name's Ochako Raka, Izuku's classmate, and I was wondering, as Nedry with sparkles in her eyes would say, oh, so are you his girlfriend? As Ochako blushing, no, it's not like that. And with a pouty face saying, although I would want that, he's got you. Nedry, visibly confused, would say, what was that? As Ochako saying, nothing, I meant to say that since you are his girlfriend, I'm sure that he would want you instead of me to talk to, considering he's been avoiding me since a few days before the incident at the ESJ. Nedry looked at Mirio, and Mirio looked at her, and the two started to laugh. As Ochako would say, what did I say? Nedry and Mirio still laughing. Ochako saying, you don't have to rub it in my face. Nedry and Mirio still laughing. Ochako now gets visibly angry, saying, why are you the two of you laughing? Mirio chuckling, saying, I think you got the wrong idea. Ochako confused, saying, huh? Nedry saying, yep, Izuku isn't my boyfriend, he's my brother. As Tamaki shyly saying, adopted brother. Nedry saying, but brother nonetheless. Ochako thinking and muttering out loud, oh my fuck, is he a siscon? Nedry confused, what's a siscon? Tamaki facepalming, it means that Izuku has a sister complex, which involves him having romantic feelings for you, aka his sister, or rather, adopted sister. Nedry thinking, nah, that's not the case. He's not romantic towards me. Ochako thinking and muttering out loud, oh my fucking god, I said it out loud. So does that mean she's a brocon? Nedry confused, what's a brocon? Tamaki facepalming again. It means that you have a brother complex. In this case, you are the one having romantic feelings toward Izuku, aka your brother, or rather adopted brother. Nedre thinking, saying, that can't be, because I like Mirio. Mirio flinching as his heart skipped a beat, saying, me? You have feelings for me? Nedre saying, yep, have feelings for you as well as Tamaki. Mirio and Tamaki looking at each other to verify they heard the same thing, while Ochako is just confused. Tamaki blushing as his heart was going out of control. So you're saying that you have feelings for me and Mirio? Nedre saying, yep, my two best friends forever. Tamaki and Mirio fell to their knees with anime tears as they could feel an arrow through their hearts, as Nedre friend-zoned them on the spot. Nedre saying, Tamaki, Mirio, why are you on the floor crying? The two of them did not answer. Ochako, witnessing the scene unfold, was shocked to see what just happened. Ochako thinking out loud, damn, now I know where Izuku got the smoothness to reject someone. Nedre confused, what does that mean? Ochako saying, never mind that, I just wanted to see Izuku and ask him a question. Nedre, excited, would say, oh, are you going to confess to him? Ochako blushing, saying, no. I mean, it's more of a question regarding 7 years ago on the beach, and also here to return his pendant. And Nedre saying, oh wow, you found it. 7 years ago on the beach. Oh, so you must be that girl with the puffy cheeks and fluffy brown hair. Now that I think about it, you still have the same puffy cheeks and fluffy brown hair. What a coincidence. But I think you mean that was 8 years ago, right? Ochako saying, wait, what does that mean? Nedre saying, yep, Izuku was the boy who was on the beach, and he scared you off with his quirk back in the day. I guess you can go and see him if you want. I can leave the two of you alone to speak in private. As Nedre would be winking at her, Ochako was embarrassed, but agreed nonetheless. Nedre opening the door, as she would say, hey Izu, you're not going to believe, as she screamed as the two entered only to see an empty room with the window open. Ochako saying, where's Izuku? Nedre saying, I don't know, but we better find him. Meanwhile, with Izuku ran away from the hospital room. After hearing commotion from outside the door, he ran off to the beach where he felt comfort as a kid. Nobody was around, and he simply sat at the shore and staring into the horizon. He went to reach for his pendant on his neck, but nothing was there. He checked his pockets frantically, only to be disappointed that he lost the last gift his parents got him. Izuku's inner monologue saying, great, first the villains, then my classmates, and now my pendant. I really am a failure. I should have just died then, so nobody would have been in danger. Well, at least not because of me. He hugged his knees, and he used them to hide his face as his eyes were swelling with tears, as someone interrupted his thoughts, saying, hey, what are you doing? Izuku turns around only to see the person he was avoiding. Izuku, visibly irritated, would say, what do you want from me, Ochako? And to be continued. You already know where I'm going with this. I'm not gonna bend the knee right now. Fuck that shit. I know. I'm the one who set expectations. But that's the first mistake you guys made. Putting expectations. You judge the book by its cover instead of listening to the contents within the story. Which is kind of a big oof on your part, guys. I'm sorry I had to debate you. But in this case, I'm not gonna retort anything I said. In this case, if you think this ship is a bad one, well, I'm gonna do it more often, okay? Don't fucking tell me what to do, okay? It's just telling you guys, alright? In this case, I already know some of you thinking what I was gonna do. Like I'd ever fucking do that. I'm not a fucking erotic novelist. God, no. I can fucking draw that shit. Why would I ever stoop that low? Well, unless I get paid to do something like that, I'd stoop that low. In this case, it might be a consensus of what I'm going to do for Patreon. A nice little, not so for work comic I might want to do in the projects. But that's for the future. I still need to make everything look enticing. But regarding that, you guys, temper your expectations. Never judge a book by its cover. That's stupid. You guys should already know that. In this case, it's a life lesson that you'll learn eventually. and I'll teach you right now. But in any case, you guys that were expecting anything more than what I'm doing,